The NFL announcing hardline policies about unvaccinated players. ABC's Zachary Quiche breaks down the new rules for us. Good morning, Zachary.
Eva, good morning to you as well. The headline from the league essentially is you got to play if you want to get paid, but the fine print on this one encourages, if not flat out demands, that NFL players get vaccinated. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell outlined what this season might look like in a memo to teams on Thursday. In it saying, quote, if a game can't be rescheduled and is canceled due to a COVID outbreak among non-vaccinated players on one of the competing teams, the team with the outbreak will forfeit. That means both teams lose game checks. That's a big deal for these players. But the commissioner also says if there is a virus outbreak among vaccinated individuals, the league will, quote, attempt to minimize the competitive and economic burden on both participating teams, ushering a clear incentive for teams to set their own vaccine mandates. Some players took to Twitter to speak out. Arizona Cardinals wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins, in a since-deleted tweet, writes, never thought I would say this, but being put in a position to hurt my team because I don't want to partake in the vaccine is making me question my future in the NFL. And Tampa Bay Buccaneers running back Leonard Fournette tweeting, vaccine, I can't do it. But the players' union reminded the players that the same basic rules applied last year, writing, the only difference is the NFL's decision to impose additional penalties on clubs which are responsible for the outbreak and the availability of proven vaccines. So this touches on a couple different levels. Of course, the safety of these players, the health of the league, but also the bottom line. Matt.
Zachary, thank you. A polarizing topic around the NFL. Benjamin Watson, former NFL player, now the vice president of the NFL Players Association, joins us now. Benjamin, the NFL isn't mandating vaccines, but it's put out a stern message if teams spread the virus and you haven't gotten the shot. So what are the players saying about this?
Well, I think we've heard a lot about what players are saying. You know, some players feel disrespected because of this new rule, well, actually this new memo that has come out. Other players have decided to get the vaccine. Emmanuel Sanders is an example of that. He actually had to sit out a couple games last year because of COVID-19, and he decided to go ahead and get the vaccine, even though it may have been reluctantly. I think the overarching issue here is that the rules haven't necessarily changed too much from last year, other than the penalties. So there's a clear message that's being sent from the NFL to players that we want everybody to be vaccinated, even though they will not mandate vaccines.
Yet we heard in that report from Zachary, Leonard Fournette came out and said, vaccine, I can't do it. So when a player comes to you, what is the union's position on players getting vaccinated?
Well, the union will always protect the health and safety of players. That's why we came together with the NFL last year. That's why we created protocols such as masking, contact tracing, social distancing, all those sorts of things. And we didn't miss any games last year. No player lost a check. And so if a player does not want to get vaccinated, we will stand behind him 100%. Look, players need to have agency when it comes to what they decide to put in their bodies. That being said, certain decisions always have consequences. And so players understand that, look, if you don't want to get vaccinated, that is totally fine. They will be subject to the same rules as last year when it comes to coming into team facilities, wearing masks, being social distance. You're not going to have to get vaccinated. And it's important that players understand that they still have that right to decide what to do.
And one of the big stories last year, games were in fact postponed. This year, the NFL came out and said that they would be forfeited. So what do you think should happen if there is an outbreak traced to an unvaccinated player?
Well, I think that the message, or at least what we're hearing from the NFL, is that revenue is number one. And so the reason why these things have changed is because the NFL has a vested interest in securing revenue. Players have a vested interest in securing revenue as well. If an unvaccinated player causes any sort of outbreak, look, it should be the same as a vaccinated player. The reason why we are pitting teams, club against club, and talking about expenses is to force vaccinations. And so the NFLPA, again, is going to support and protect players. But we're also going to say, look, the science is there. We know that vaccinations have reduced infection rates. And so we feel good about this. But we still want you to make the choice for yourself.
We will certainly keep an eye on the story as training camps approach. NFLPA Vice President Benjamin Watson with us this morning. Benjamin, thank you. Whit?
Fascinating conversation. A lot of other sports and athletes as well looking to the NFL to see what they're doing.
I believe this is just the start of this as well.
Absolutely.
We'll see this continue to grow.
No question.
Well, hey.
Hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.